The People's Democratic Party faces deepening internal conflicts as key figures, including Atiku Abubakar and Nyesom Wike, both clash over leadership and the direction ahead of the 2027 elections. Senator Adolphus Wabara's controversial support for Labour Party's Alex Otti has further fueled tensions within the party, exposing divisions in its leadership. Now, prominent members like Chief Bode George are urging unity and discipline to prevent further fragmentation. These ongoing struggles could weaken the PDP's competitiveness in future elections, leaving its future uncertain. Well, for an insider analysis of the troubles of the opposition PDP, especially the crisis over the party's national secretariatship and why party stakeholders are unable to resolve the worsening crisis in the party, we're now joined by former PDP National Legal Secretary Jacob Mark. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Well, PDP always seems to be in the news these days over one crisis or another, and this is a hydra-headed crisis that we're trying to discuss today. With the Board of Trustees, Senate President Adolphus Wabara and the National Working Committee head, Ambassador Umar Damagum, they have their daggers drawn. Their supporters seem to be going at each other's throats now. How important is it now for the National Working Committee to hold their NEC meeting in March, as was previously scheduled, as we do know that this NWC meeting keeps getting postponed?
Let me say very quickly that maybe in the last 1 year, this is the first time we are having very clear signs of unity. We have the Board of Trustees taking a decision that has been backed and supported by the governors of the PDP, and a decision that has been implemented by the NWC. And what is the decision? It is the decision of the Court of Appeal in the intractable crisis surrounding the avoidable dispute of who is the National Secretary of the party. And I say it's avoidable because the provisions of the PDP Constitution are very clear that you cannot walk away from your office as national officer, go and contest primaries, and then come back and occupy that same position. You are required to retire or resign before you go to contest. You can't hold two offices at the same time. It's a strange thing. So it was an avoidable crisis, and we are happy that the Court of Appeal endorsed the decision of the High Court of Enugu State and made it very clear that the person who left the office of secretary to go and contest for nomination and actually won the nomination and became the candidate of the party in that election ought not to have returned to the party after losing the election. So, like I said, for the first time, we have a judicial pronouncement that has been lawfully respected by the Governors Forum, by the BOT, and by the NWC. And for me, this is the surest sign of unity, and it should be supported by all well-meaning members of the party. We are moving forward, and I'm very comfortable with that approach.
Well, I was asking if
we say very clearly.
I was asking about the NEC meeting holding in March and how important that is, since you're discussing the unity that is newfound within the party. How is it important that this actually holds in March, as it's been postponed for a couple of times?
Oh, surely. Thank you very much. Truly, the NEC meeting for March is a meeting to be looked up to. And it is a meeting that every member of the party at all levels is anxious to see hold. When that NEC meeting holds, it is the organ that is supreme to all the other bodies that have endorsed the decision of the Court of Appeal. When that meeting holds, we look forward to it because that is a meeting that would lay down a solid foundation for all the decisions that have been taken. And it is important that all organs of the party support the NWC at this stage to organize and make sure that that NEC meeting takes place. We're looking forward to it.
Okay, so from, let me take a cue from some of the things you've said. For instance, you've said there are no internal crises, that the party is more united now than ever before. But what would be your reaction to the contrasting takes or contrasting positions of some of the party members? For instance, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and also the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. What would be your reaction to some of their contrasting positions on the party's role come 2027?
Look, politics is all about interests. And you cannot force people not to have it. In fact, if there are no interests, if there are no competing interests, there will be no politics. So for me, while I don't really know much about the contrasting interests they have displayed, I believe that they are all, including others that you have not mentioned, expressing interest that is legitimate. Every aspiration, as far as the Constitution is concerned, if you want to aspire to be president, you want to be governor, you want to be senator, whatever your aspiration, it is legitimate, it is guaranteed by the Constitution of the country and the Constitution of the party. The important thing is to allow members exhaust their ambition, exhaust their interest. Let there be a very plain field. Let everybody be given opportunity to express himself, to express his interest, and to pursue any ambition that is legitimate. I think there is nothing wrong in people having different interests. That is politics, and it should be encouraged. That is the essence of democracy. That is what makes democracy different from military rule, where you are compelled to adopt or to queue up behind a particular person, and you are not allowed to be different. For us, if there are competing interests, many competing interests, the better. We are hoping that there will be more candidates or more people interested in different agenda, different interests. We want to see them. And that is the joy of having political parties. The internal democracy encourages all qualified Nigerians who are members of the party to express interest and to pursue those interests legitimately. So there is nothing wrong if His Excellency Atiku Abubakar has an interest. There is nothing wrong if Nyesom Wike has an interest. There is nothing wrong if, in fact, McCarthy, if other people from different places indicate interest to become anything. These are legitimate interests, and they should be allowed to grow.
Fair enough. Now, we know that there are two conflicting orders currently on the table. The first from the appeal court in Enugu, ruling in favor of Ude Okoye as national chairman. This was back in December of last year. And in January of this year, the Court of Appeal in Abuja issued a restraining order to keep Anyanwu in the position of national chairman now until the Supreme Court makes its decision. So when the Supreme Court does make a decision, are you confident that this judgment will put an end to this leadership tussle, or are there more intrigues that we might not foresee?
No, there are no conflicting orders of the court. There is only one existing judgment, and that is the judgment of the Court of Appeal, recognizing Ude as the National Secretary of the PDP. That there is an appeal to the Supreme Court is legitimate, and we are anxiously awaiting that decision. And when that decision comes, just like the governors and the Board of Trustees says, whatever the judgment of the Supreme Court is, it will be complied with, because that is the apex court of the country. So there is nothing hidden and there is nothing misleading about that. The important thing is that let us obey the rule of law and obey our own constitution. You cannot also employ self-help in making your agitation or in expressing yourself. You must obey the position of the courts, and then you must obey the organs of the party. Honestly, the issue of leadership of political parties, the courts in Nigeria have always frowned against inviting the courts to participate in such decisions. It's standard practice and an established rule that as far as leadership of political parties and social-cultural organizations or clubs and associations are concerned, the constitution of the party or the club and association is supreme. The courts hardly intervene unless where members of the party unwittingly take those matters to the courts. But otherwise, the courts restrain themselves from interfering on issues or determining who leaders of the political party should be. So this one that has gone upstairs, we are happy that the people involved have not taken the law into their hands. They have respected the decisions that came from the High Court and the decision that came from the Court of Appeal. They have now gone to the Supreme Court. There is no reason why anybody should not wait for the Supreme Court, and there is no reason why anybody would argue with the decision of the Supreme Court on the issue. We already have 2 judgments from the High Court and the Court of Appeal agreeing on a very particular subject. Let us see what the Supreme Court will do.
All right, while we wait for the Supreme Court ruling, what implications do you think this particular court ruling would have on the party, especially seeing that there has been a consistent depletion of your ranks, looking at the one that happened in Kaduna with people like Hunkui and Yero Shehu Sani, do you think that the PDP can still regain its eminence when it comes to politicking in Nigeria?
Well, I'm happy you mentioned Kaduna State as an example of people decamping. Nigerian political players have consistently shown that they are in politics, first, not based on any ideological convictions, but that they are in politics for what they can get out of it. Most politicians are transactional. Once they cannot get what they are looking for, they move to the next market. And that is what we have seen. You mentioned Hunkui. This will be the 3rd time he will decamp either to the APC or to the PDP. He has done that a couple of times since 2015. He will move here today. Tomorrow, he will move to the other one. Shehu Sani has also moved from APC to PDP, from PDP back to APC. We don't know which bus stop he will go to next time. The same thing with the others you have not mentioned. We know some of them are moving because they think since there are not many aspirants exist in the APC in Kaduna State, they are moving there so that they can pick cheap tickets to contest various positions of either senatorial or House of Assembly or House of Representative seats. Some have been caught up by our very clear zoning formulas in different constituencies. Some have exhausted their tenure. They know that they cannot contest election in those constituencies again. So it is easier to move to another political party and see how they can get the ticket again and contest the election. In PDP, the zoning formula within several constituencies is strictly followed. And if you have exhausted your tenure, there is nothing you can do to get the people to donate to you an extra term. And most of those who have decamped had that problem of trying to change the system or change the formula so that they can get a 3rd or a 4th term. But the people, particularly the grassroots, are completely committed to being fair to each other. You contest today, tomorrow is the turn of another person. You cannot take the slot of another set of people within the same constituency. So this zoning formula It's actually affecting some of the people who are decamping. And, well, they have a right to move to another political party to seek the tickets that will allow them run in 2027. All these movements, decamping, are actually informed by aspirations of 2027 and the promises from the APC that they will get cheap tickets. So it's not a problem at all. Like I said, political party belonging or patronage in Nigeria has never been an ideological thing. People wake up in the morning and shift to another political party. By evening, they are looking for another one because what they went to buy in the other place was not available. And so that's how fluid Nigerian politicians are. And I really pray that we will mature one day to see where cross-carpeting becomes difficult. But today, people cross-carpet without the slightest hindrance, and it makes nonsense of the process. And I pray, like I said, that one day this country will have political parties that are founded on ideology, and that people are aligning themselves to political parties for purposes of delivering services, not for purposes of getting meal tickets, which is what we see. Transactional politicking, where people are in this political party because of what they can get from the political party, or whether the political party will give them a chance to contest elections. Simple, and nothing more. That is what we're seeing in some of the states where people are decamping freely. And yes, it is a normal phenomenon when elections are approaching. We have not seen it all. We will soon also see people leaving the APC for either Labour Party or PDP or ABGA. They will soon move.
And allow me
as
to
2027 approaches.
Allow me to interrupt you just for the sake of time, especially since you're talking about cross-carpeting and the 2027 elections upcoming. Your former national auditor, Ray Naji, recently said in an interview that the only thing to pose a challenge to the APC were if Atiku were able to succeed in getting Peter Obi and Kwankwaso to form some kind of mega alliance under the PDP. What are your thoughts on the formings of these mega alliances? I do know you're upset about the cross-carpeting, but it seems like PDP is a bit of a sinking ship. We're not all confident that the way that it is structured at the current moment is going to be the vehicle to unseat the APC or even cause any kind of change within the political sphere. So how serious are the members of your party taking these restructurings?
I personally restrain myself from identifying anybody for now as a possible candidate because it's a bit too early, and then two, I find it funny that anybody is proposing a merger between Atiku Abubakar, Kwankwaso, and Obi. I don't understand from which political platform. Is Kwankwaso ready to throw NNPP under the bridge? Is Peter Obi no longer prominent in his party? Or is there a discussion that we don't know where Atiku will be allowed, he will get the party, the nomination of PDP, and then he will go and bring a running mate from another political party? These are the kind of unserious alignments that should not be allowed, even under the law. Because people must run these things seriously. If you're a serious politician, you should at least have somebody you trust within your lines, within your group, within your political party, who you agree with. And what is it about unseating or removing APC? Is it correct to just align because you want to remove a political party? What is your ideology? What are you trying to bring to the table? These are the questions that I find unanswered when people make such proposals, because I can't see the meeting point between people who are in Labour Party and those who are in APC. I don't understand what kind of ideology drives them. Is it just the craze for the office that is the meeting point? Or do they have anything? What developmental programs do they have? What is their ideology when it comes to development? What is it that they are offering to the Nigerian people. I don't understand how you can just marry people and think that it will work. It doesn't work like that. And I don't want to even be part of that kind of arithmetic where you bring strange bedfellows to run a ticket. Which agenda would they pursue? When I listen to Peter Obi, he has his mind made up on what he wants to do. When I listen to Atiku, he has his mind and understanding of what governance should look like. I don't expect a marriage easily between such competing interests or agenda. Because when they speak, you can see clearly that their approach to governance is different. And when you add Kwankwaso to it, it is worse. Because his understanding of Nigeria, his approach to the Nigerian state, and the issues bedeviling Nigeria, his understanding is completely different from what Peter Obi is talking about. The same thing with Atiku and Kwankwaso. So I don't see how you can bring them together under a ticket. I don't understand. And I think it's just wishful thinking. And it won't work as far as I'm concerned.
All right, on that note, we'd like to appreciate you for your time. PDP National Legal Secretary, Jacob Mark. Thank you for your time.